This is Kyle and Pam with Asset Hero Studios on behalf of TNT Properties Real Estate. This is podcast episode number 2, I believe, right?
That is correct.
Okay, great. So in this episode, I want to just kind of go over the market. I know we've kind of briefly touched that in the previous podcast, but we're in a seller's market now, or maybe not anymore. It's starting to turn. Mm-hmm. So what that means is, inflation's at its highest, and the government is raising the interest rates on mortgages, which then in turn just shifts the economy, the real estate market, and it starts to turn into more of a buyer's market instead of a seller's market, meaning there's way more inventory than there are buyers. So buyers get to kind of cherry pick the best deals, really. But interest rates are higher. So what does that mean? Does that mean you should stop buying real estate because the market's turning? Because I hear a lot people saying, I'm just going to wait until the right opportunity, or right when the market is at its prime to buy something. But the answer to that is that's wrong. You should always be buying, no matter what the market is, because you continue to wait, you never pull the trigger. You get stuck in that analysis paralysis thing. So,
right. And so let's just pretend you do find the perfect place and it's at higher interest. What are some things you can tell yourself, like in a year, I'll be able to? Well,
yeah. So interest rate is ever changing. So if you buy something that has a higher interest rate than it was before, so like when it was a seller's market, the interest rates were 2 and 3%. Now we're 5, 6, 7%, and it's going to continue to go up. So if you buy something at a higher interest rate, that's okay, because the whole goal is just to own the asset, right? So that's going to lower your cash flow initially, but cash flow isn't the king anymore, right? So it is very important, but you got other things you can look into, and that's your equity. So, and when you buy something, you just wait for that market to turn again, go back to a seller's market, because it always goes up and down. But when that happens, the interest rates will drastically drop. Then you jump on refinancing at that point.
Right, because it will drop.
Yes, absolutely.
You just have to be patient
Yep.
and wait for it.
Yeah, you drop and then you refinance and you get that better interest rate. Then your mortgage will drop significantly. So, and then all the while you're waiting, let's say that takes 5 years, right? While you're waiting, you're still building equity because you're paying down the loan,
right? And
your forced appreciation, or if you have to remodel it or put any work into it, but even if you didn't, the property is still appreciating every single year, so you're building equity there. And then you got the tax savings on the depreciation. It's not just about cash flow. So,
right.
Too often I get these owners that we represent that want that all they care about, all they're focused on is the cash flow, and they forget about the equity. And the equity is really your secret money stash. I always tell investors to look at properties as a bank account, right? And the equity is the cash sitting in the bank account, so you can use it and it's tax free. So
that's the beauty of it.
Yes, it's tax free.
But a lot of people don't think about that.
Yeah.
I know.
So, but anyway, regardless of what the market, I guess the point of this is, regardless of what the market is, you should never not buy. You should always look to buy. There's always a good deal. It just may be harder to find. And there's also worry too when the market turns down that the value of the property will drop, which is 100% false. Real estate doesn't do that, right? So what it does do, it may plateau a little bit, may stay the same for a year, but it always ends up going up, always. And even if it stayed still, it didn't go up 1 year, you're still building equity because you're paying the loan balance down. So you win either way.
Right, and I love how you can a lot of people don't think outside of the box, but you tend to do that. Like there's recently an investment program, correct?
Yes.
That you've been talking a lot about. And you're actually getting some folks that are interested, but they're like, their question is always, how is this benefiting you? Why are you doing this?
Right. Yeah. One of the I always search for creative financing ways to buy real estate. So my whole thing is trying to buy real estate without using any of my own money. So, a typical loan will take, require 20% down payment. So where do I get that?
Right.
If you don't have that money, but you want to invest in real estate, where do you get it from? Well, you get private lenders, or there's all kinds of ways to do it. So this program, it has to be someone with deeper pockets, but they would buy a piece of real estate in cash, so there is no mortgage, and then they'll turn around and sell it to you and owner finance it. And then we pay 10% interest, which is really high, right? But you do that for 5 years, and then we cash out, refinance it, and pay them off. So they get a guaranteed 10% return. They get a full investment return after 5 years, and for every $200,000 in value that property is, they make $100,000 in 5 years.
Right, because some people have property, and they've invested in it, but they know that their return it's going to take 20 years or something to see.
To get a full, like an infinite rate of return type of thing. Yeah. I mean, that takes a long time to get that back, unless you put no money into it.
Right.
But which is what I do. So my goal is to get an infinite rate of return immediately.
Right.
But in that case, I would, right? So
and every situation's different. Every investment, it seems like.
Well, some people want to invest, but they don't like the risk involved with the real estate itself, or they don't want to deal with the headache of the day to day, or it's not a good enough return for them, or it's not guaranteed. Well, offering that involves them into real estate. They're not actually owning it, but they get a guaranteed return of 10%. Like it's, there's all kinds of ways to work with investing in real estate, and you just gotta. If you have a simple mindset, you won't succeed. You got to think outside the box, right? So you can't say, "Oh, I don't have money, I can't buy real estate." Well, get creative, right?
It's young people that tend to say that.
Yeah.
They always believe like, "Oh, I'm too young. I don't have anything established. There's no way I could buy an investment property." But
yeah, I do it all the time without any money at all.
How old were you when you bought your first property?
20.
20. So insane. So it can be done.
Yes, it can. So, so if you guys ever have any questions about investment opportunities, we can help you with sales and leasing efforts for TNT Properties Real Estate. So
let's talk about leasing a little bit before we go.
Yes.
It's starting. The pre-leasing season is upon us. It's going to be here very soon.
Yes, we're in August now. Pre-leasing here in Brazos County usually hits mid-September, late September-ish, so maybe another month and a half or so. But it's going to hit hard. So with the turning of the sales market starting to lean towards the buyer's market, what that means is sales market drops, rental market increases. So it goes like this. So the demand for rentals is going to be astronomically high this season, so we're super excited about it.
Right, and we get an early start because, believe it or not, there's a window.
There's a huge market for pre-leasing, typically 10 to 11 months in advance. That sounds crazy, but we don't control that. That's people are literally calling saying, "I'm ready to lease next year. What do you have?"
What do you have?
So So yeah, and most people know. I mean, even the current tenants, know that's,
Well, because they did it.
Exactly right. They know, so they know what to expect. So some properties don't require that, but some do. So it's just every property is a little different depending on the type of renter it typically attracts, like college student, family oriented, whatever.
Do you think that's the secret to your high occupancy, percentage on the properties that are managed?
The leasability?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we typically lease.
Tip.
The average lease time frame for a property for TNT Properties is 21 days or less. So we lease a property in 3 weeks or less every time. So, well, not every time, but on average. So,
right.
Anyway, so pre-leasing season is we're prepping for it now. Working on getting marketing on a lot of properties already. So.
Right.
So,
I know. And hey, don't forget, we are still planting trees.
Yes.
So your input is welcome. You can pretty much give us a little bit of feedback anywhere. You can access it through the website. You can access it through, even if you're speaking to one of our agents, they'll be happy to share a link with you. But we do welcome input. We do read those. We do use them for training and for improvement and also celebration.
There you go. Cool. Well, yeah, leave some feedback and we'll plant a tree on your behalf.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.